Hello everybody and welcome to the final instalment on this lesson on question 4 on paper 1 of the AQA GCSE English language exam. Now at the end of the last video I gave you this question to have a go at, and you had 25 minutes and 5 paragraphs to write based on the extract from the sign of 4 from chapter 5. Now what I'm just going to go through with you for those that may have struggled with this is some statements or quotes that we could use to back up or support the statement within the question, and also some ideas which contradict that statement too. So having looked at the extract, we need to find quotations or parts of the text that support the statement that the characters are all fearful of something, and also quotes that support, rather contradict the statement that characters are fearful of something. Okay, so it's kind of like a writing to argue piece really. You're looking for and against arguments. So things that I found within the extract were things like the description at the beginning, the fact that the characters require light, and that can be suggestive of the fact that they're scared of what's lurking in the shadows, that there's lots of questions, the fact that they ask who's there, almost like they're very, very nervous about somebody being there and not knowing who that person is. We could use the quote distrustful eyes in our answer, and the fact that the characters distrust the people, and you could then suggest why they distrust those people. The fact that Mr. McMurdo says, "I had to be certain of your friends before I let them in," which suggests that he is fearful of those people at the door. We've also mentioned in a past question the fact that he's also fearful of his master and betraying his trust, and also going against the rules and regulations that he has stated to him. Okay, so there are 2 things that you could list with regard to that particular quote. The fact that there's the use of very short sentences, which often are used for drama or impact, could also be used to reflect the fact that the characters feel very nervous. And we could also say that the lodge door is locked, the iron clamped door. So if the door is locked, then perhaps they are fearful of what may enter if it isn't. So there are actually quite a few things within that section of text that we could note down to suggest that the characters are fearful of something. Things that we would say would contradict the statement, I think are centred around Sherlock Holmes as a character. Now, the fact that he appears to be at ease and very friendly, because he says that he genially smiles at the other characters and he is quite friendly with them, he laughs, suggests that he isn't fearful of anything or anyone in that situation. And the fact also that Mr. McMurdo actually allows entry to the people also suggests that actually maybe he isn't fearful of those people at the door when he realises who they are. Okay, so those are just some of the things that you could have pulled out of that extract to answer the question about the characters being fearful. Now, if we then take those points, okay, we want to write 5 paragraphs and we want to use our flowchart structure, we can formulate an answer something like this, okay? So we want to start with an overview of our answer, which is what we've done here. So I'll just zoom that in for you a little bit. Okay, so I've said, I agree to an extent with the above statement. I believe that the majority, but not all, of the characters display fear in the source. So I've actually answered the question that I agree or disagree, or I agree to an extent. And that's actually a link back to the question directly. And then what you'll see is in each of these paragraphs, I have the 4 colours. So I've got my point in blue, my quote, my dissection, and then I've also got a link back to the question about how it makes the characters feel. So what the suggestion is, does it support or contradict the statement? So you'll see that each paragraph has got those parts of the flowchart in. Now, I mentioned in my previous videos that the flowchart structure can alter in the sense that actually you could have your link section at different parts of your paragraph. So it might not actually come directly at the end, as in, you know, that one at the top or the second paragraph, but it might actually come at the beginning, okay? So as long as you've got those parts of the flowchart within your paragraph and you make it clear to the examiner that you are linking back to the question, then that's okay to shift those things. Now you can get this as a free download off my website, asiaexams.wordpress.com, and I would strongly suggest that you have a good read through this in your own time. Link it back to the one that you've written and see what, you know, positive things you've done in your answer, and also make a note of anything that you think you could improve on. Now obviously I wrote this answer with loads more time than the 25 minutes, okay? So I wrote this, it probably took me about 3/4 of an hour to write it. So the examiner is not really going to expect something in this detail, but what they will expect is something that follows that structure and makes it clear to them how you are linking those points to the question. So what I want you to take from this sample answer is how it's structured and how you can link those points back to the question. Okay, that's the end of this video on question 4, paper 1, on the AQA GCSE language paper 1. I'll also be uploading a question 5 video soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you receive updates of when that's posted. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at AsiaExams. You can ask me any questions that you have on the exam, and also head over to my website asiaexams.wordpress.com for loads of free downloads. Thanks for listening.